to look at the policy, and we're going to send it to Mark Nettleton, have him take a look at it. I'm sure he's got policies too that dealing with townships every day that.
Have a more current one?
The update, because it is from '94, so.
Can I make a resolution to contact Mark and see what needs to be done to update our current bidding policy?
I'll support that.
Moved by Kristen, supported by Nancy. Write a letter to or send it info to Nettleton. Roll call vote.
Kristen,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Eileen.
Resolution carries. Public Lakes weed control petition.
I did make a copy so everybody has one in their file. We received a petition this morning. Petition for the control of non-native aquatic plants and lakes located within Chippewa Township, across the County of Michigan. Request to appropriate money from the Township General Fund for the control effort. Per Michigan Law, Act 116 of 1923, Township and Village Public Improvement and Public Service Act 41.418, Weed Control, Section 8. Upon receipt of a petition signed by 25 individuals who reside and own real property within the township, requesting the control of weeds in inland public lakes situated within the township, a township board may appropriate money from the contingent or general fund to control the weeds. In the past decade, infestations of non-native aquatic plants like Eurasian water milfoil and curly-leaf pondweed have occurred in one or more lakes located within Chippewa Township. Such infestations are well documented and have proven to be capable of impairing recreational use and the aesthetic beauty of a lake, impacting wildlife habitat and threatening property values. We, the undersigned Chippewa Township resident property owners, hereby petition the township to use money from the Township General Fund to control non-native aquatic plants in lakes located within Chippewa Township. You guys have copies of the. Joe Mendenhall that signed that lives and is registered to vote in Green Township.
Okay.
The petition contains 28 signatures representing individuals who reside and own property within Chippewa Township. One named Joe Mendenhall is a registered voter in Green Township and resides at 21010 18 Mile Road, Big Rapids. His signature should not have been included, which leaves 27 verified signatures. The 27 verified signatures represent 33 real property parcels out of the 1,847 total real property parcels that we have in Chippewa Township, or 1.8%. There are 3 lakes with public access and 8 private lakes located in Chippewa Township. The general fund money may only be used on public bodies of water, so the 3 lakes, it would be Chippewa, it would be Pine Lake, and it would be Upper Evans.
It would be all the whole of Chippewa would have to stay Upper Evans to be in
That portion that's in our township.
yeah.
The 2015 Chippewa Lake Weed Control Petition Drive failed for lack of sufficient property owners' signatures. So,
What did we pay the last year for the treating of Chippewa Lake?
oh God. Brian, do you remember?
I don't remember right offhand, but it was significant, and that was after we.
And we're gonna try and take on 3 more lakes. Forget it.
I mean,
You have to remember, this petition doesn't say you have to do anything. It's a stopgap measure that can allow you to do whatever effort you want towards weed control. It may be something as simple as keeping the weed control advisory committee afloat, so you can spend $300-400 a year. I mean, they're doing what we paid thousands to a company to do. They're doing the lake checks and stuff now. It can be as simple as that. You might spend $400 on gas to have these guys keep monitoring our lake. But if it all goes crazy, like I'm convinced it's gonna, I think we're gonna have an early warm spring. If it goes out of control, you have a method of doing something about it if you want to with this petition. It doesn't say you have to do anything, but you have the latitude with this signed petition by law.
Well, I think we'd be cutting our throats. I mean, we already had a petition out and it was rejected royally. And to turn around and take somebody's money and say, hey, whether you like it or not, we're gonna spend it on another lake. It don't sound very good.
No. As much as I agree with Norm as far as the problems we're bound to see this spring, the residents made it clear what they wanted to do, and that was to do nothing at this point in time. So as far as, you know, the advisory committee, that sort of thing, I'm all for that, but as far as actual treatment, unless we get the public to go along with it,
Well, I don't necessarily agree that the public didn't want it. I know
that's what they voted.
Well, I know a lot of people that voted no, and Julie, I sent you a letter several months ago, and I told you, I know why it failed. People
No,
were
I don't
said
think
here,
you do.
sign a blank check.
You didn't have a figure.
Well, it
Norma,
just said
I only
you,
have a question on that though, because you're saying that they were gonna sign a blank check. The very first two petitions that were done that you and Jim Slee did
correct.
had no money value on those.
But we told people what it was gonna be.
How did you know what it was gonna be?
Because Jim had talked to you folks, and he told me what it was gonna be. He said there's a clear understanding how it's gonna be distributed. It's gonna stay around the same as it was, I helped on the second petition drive. He said it's gonna stay right around the same as it was last time. 125 is what it was. He said it could go up a little, and it did to 150. But everything he told me was exactly what I took the petition on, and that's what passed. Because people knew clearly, roughly what, I'm not
We
saying you
didn't
gotta
have
tell
any
them that
figures. That's
now.
what I don't understand, is we didn't have any figures until we bid it out.
It's funny it passed.
Well, and it
Because
it
people
passed both
knew, I
times,
mean,
and
if-
there wasn't any, and the first time it was $40, and then for the second one, it jumped to the 125 per lot.
Correct, but people knew clearly. Anyway, all the, I don't know how much acreage I gathered, but I gathered a lot of acreage. And I told them specifically, it was gonna be right around $125 a lot, and that's what it was. As it turns out, whether Jim told me correctly or not, I don't know. I'm just saying that was the understanding going into this. The distribution was understood, it was gonna be 3-lot max. All those provisions came true, so I'm assuming it was true. After 7 years, it followed through, and people signed it, because they understood that.
Well, the treatment of this lake alone tells me that there's no way this township can afford to treat 3 lakes. Without
That's not what it says, George.
Mhm.
That's not what it says. It just
I
says
know it's
any
not what it
lakes
says,
that
but
might
it actually,
become
it
overwhelmingly
actually is
infested.
that way. How are you gonna stop it? I mean, if you go and get a bid to treat the lake, now what are you gonna do? You're gonna say, well, we can't afford that much?
You can choose to do nothing. That's my point.
That's what the people want right now. They wanna see what's gonna happen.
I don't believe that.
I don't either.
I've
Well,
talked
you
to
may
too
not
many
believe
people.
that, but the voting proved it, so.
I mean, I fully intend to help or start it myself if I have to, a new petition drive for a new assessment district. Fact is, it can't happen for 2016, and I don't think a lot of people realize what that lake's gonna be like.
Well, that's what's gotta happen. If it happens that way.
But you can do
then
nothing
you'll
for
get it.
16 of it.
Exactly.
I
I'm not
personally
the one
went
that's gonna
down,
take the
well,
heat. You
I
guys are.
personally went through and was collecting the signatures myself. And I spoke with a lot of people, and there was a lot of concern as far as are the chemicals really helping. This year, we'll let people know whether or not the chemicals were helping the lake or not. I can tell you there was a great percentage of people that thought that what we were doing wasn't doing any good. So they'll find out this year. We'll all find out this year. you know.
I agree.
The other thing is the demographics have changed drastically since the last petition. There are a lot more renters on this lake than what there ever has been in the past. And to get the owners of the property to sign when they're renting the property out is very difficult.
Well, it's just, I guess I'm just looking at it as an insurance policy, giving it to the board. If the heat gets too hot this summer, you'll have an apparatus to use to bail yourselves out. If you don't wanna use it, you don't have to. You can ignore it. your choice.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion that we acknowledge that we received this petition, but that we do not take any action on the petition.
Nancy?
Is that gotta be
Roll
yours?
call vote.
Okay. Julie,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes,
Kristen, George,
Yes.
Eileen, yes.
Resolution. Township insurance renewal.
Everybody's got a packet, we just received this from Berlin Flowers, our insurance group.
Are they the ones? Thank you. Never mind.
Thank you for entrusting your entity's property and casualty insurance to the Berlin Flower Insurance Group. It has been our pleasure serving you this past year. We understand that the entities are feeling the crunch of Michigan's current economic issues and have concerns about meeting financial obligations. In these uncertain times, having a proven insurance program is more important than ever. The Michigan Township Participating Plan, MTPP, has been serving Michigan's townships and other entities for 30 years and stands ready to serve your entity in 2016. Please note the options listed on the invoice buying request if applicable. To process your renewal, please do the following. Select your desired coverage on the invoice buying request. Sign the enclosed invoice buying request where indicated. Complete, sign, and date the notice of terrorism form. Sign and date the enclosed application declaration form and return all signed forms with your premium payment in the enclosed return envelope. Or to assist you with making the right decision for your entity in 2016, I would be more than happy to meet with you to explain your insurance program. Again, thank you for your continued support. Jeffrey McCray, Account Manager. Now, one thing I did see as I was going through this earlier, because it still has the community building and contents in there, so I sent a note to Jeff kind of asking for an explanation on that. Good morning, Julie. No, the building value remains the same until we know what the new replacement cost will be. The one thing done behind the scenes is that the category of coverage changed to what's known as builder's risk property coverage while the structure is under demo and rebuild. All of the same coverage is applied, but is broadened in case something should damage the structure or materials under demo or rebuild. Obviously, much more important once the rebuild actually starts. And then he went on to say that he had talked with John Huizinga, and we should be getting some answers soon on that. So yes, that community building amount should still be in there, he's saying. The total cost of the plan package is, and they don't have it broke down between what's the sewage portion and what's the township's, the total is $6,982. If you want to add the casualty limited terrorism coverage, this is the same thing that was offered last year that we didn't go with. The option is $31 additional. Add property limited terrorism coverage, to go higher on that limit is $49 increase. Increase property contents value by 3%. Inflation guard is an additional $34. Add non-monetary damage limit to $100,000 per suit, $100,000 aggregate is an additional $750. Add cyber and privacy liability coverage, it says see attached for details, that is an additional $1,018. So if you want to look through who is insured, any member of the governing body of the named insured, any member of boards or commission of the named insured, any elected or appointed official of the named insured, any employee of the named insured, and any volunteer of the named insured is covered under our liability. Comprehensive general liability coverage, we have bodily injury and property damage, $2 million per occurrence. Personal and advertising injury of $2 million per occurrence. There's none on the aggregate and none on the deductible. Sewer backup liability is $100,000 per occurrence. Damage to premises rented to you, $500,000 any one premise. Medical payments, volunteers included, is $10,000 on any one person. Entrusted property for storage and safekeeping is $25,000. Excess employer's liability is $100,000 bodily injury by accident, $100,000 bodily injury by disease. The additionally and automatically included is several items. Read down through athletic participation liability, automatic coverage for newly acquired organizations, broad form, property damage, cemetery professional endorsement, elected and appointed officials, residence and place of employment, extended bodily injuries, EMT, EMS, which we don't have, government medical, incidental medical malpractice liabilities, so as your non-owned watercraft, mental anguish, mental injury, shock and disability, is all part of that liability coverage. Employee benefits liability coverage is per occurrence 1 million, annual aggregate limit is 3 million, there is no deductible on that. Wrongful acts liability coverage is just errors and omissions, directors and officers is 2 million per occurrence, no annual aggregate limit, no deductible. Employment practice liabilities included, equal employment opportunity commission actions is included, civil rights violations is included. Automobile liability coverage, occurrence limit hired and non-owned include $2 million coverage with no deductible. Automobile physical damage coverage, collision deductible is $500, this is on the sewer truck. Comprehensive deductible, broad form is $500. Hired auto physical damage, $50,000, uninsured, underinsured motors, $100,000 aggregate. Physical damage to insured personal auto up to $1,000. It includes Michigan personal injury protection, Michigan property protection, mini tort liability, and lease gap coverage. The scheduled amount for the 2012 Ford F-350 pickup is the actual cash value of the vehicle. The value when we bought it was $26,745. Then we have property coverages, the Township Hall at $265,000, $31,800 for contents. The community center was at $371,000, $26,500 for contents. The 19 Mile Road Pavilion is $52,404. The lift station 1 is $84,000. The lift station 1, 2, and 3 are all the same at $84,270. The Lake Street sewer maintenance building is $127,200 with $42,400 in contents. The Millet Park gazebo is $15,483. The cemetery cold storage building is $12,360. We also have 633 gray water pumps at various locations, covered at $763,200. Total building and contents limit blanketed and agreed is $1,960,157 with a $500 deductible. Earthquake coverage limit is $1 million. Earthquake coverage deductible is $50,000. Flood coverage limit is $100,000. Flood coverage deductible is $10,000. Then it goes on to tree cleanup, underground pipes, flues, loss of rents and businesses, is all stuff that's included in the insurance. Electronic data processing coverage is data, media, and programs for $100,000, extra expense $100,000, loss of business income $100,000. System breakdown coverage is included, deductible is $500. Inland marine coverage covers the Home Light portable generator for the sewer district, the John Deere tractor, and the moor deck, the mag cable gold dot. What is that, George? That does the lines. Tracer. Portable frame and hoist, and miscellaneous property and equipment. It covers the bonds for the treasurer, the deputy treasurer, the clerk, the deputy clerk, and the supervisor. And then we're back to the bond request effective. It would become effective April 15th is when our renewal is due, and that's at $6,982. And then any of the additional, if you want that on top of it.
Is this the exact same policy as I shared with you? Yes, there's been no changes.
The only change there would be is if you wanted to add this optional coverages. I think last year we chose that 3% inflation guard,
Right.
because it was only 34 for the whole year. And it gave us an additional 3% on everything. If you have questions, I can ask Jeff if he can come to our April meeting.
It seems,
Premium didn't work.
I didn't want George to see, I think it's up a little bit, but I don't think it's up very much. And I didn't look at it.
but it seems to be well covered, I would think.
We'll see what about the community building.
Julie, is that $4 additional, is that per month or per year for the 3%?
Per year.
Then I think we need to look into that.
Which one's that, Kristen?
The 3% increase for property and contents.
Yeah.
What's your insurance year?
What, how does it fall? April 15th?
So technically you could wait till next month if you want.
If you wanted to have Jeff come up, he said he'd be willing to come up if you have any questions that you want him to go through the policy with us.
He came up last year and we had quite a few questions. It was kind of nice to have him here.
Is that what we want to do then?
What's your pleasure?
I'll move that we table it and have Jeff come up to our April meeting. As long as we can give this time, so.
Moved and supported, that we have Jen come to the next meeting to answer questions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any other correspondence?
We did not get the sheriff's report yet this month, so I do not have that. We do have a message from the director of the U.S. Census Bureau. The U.S. Census Bureau will be conducting the 2016 Government Unit Survey in preparation for the 2017 Census of Governments. In a few weeks, we will send a formal request to all county, municipal, township, and special district governments to participate in this survey. The survey gathers information on the basic characteristics of all local, general purpose, and special district governments. Government and analysts use this information to update the universe of all county, municipal, township, and special district governments and produce the official count of local governments in the U.S. This survey is an integral part of maintaining the frame from which all public sector surveys are drawn. Responding to the survey in a timely manner helps us process data more efficiently and save taxpayers money by reducing follow-up contacts. The Census Bureau conducts a request your voluntary assistance under the authority of Title 13 U.S.C. Section 161 and Title 13 U.S.C. Section 193. We estimate the survey to take on an average of 15 minutes to complete. On the back of this letter, you will find disclosure descriptions regarding the Office of Management and Budget number, authority and confidentiality, and burden estimate statement. When you receive the formal request, please read the instructions and complete your survey online by the due date on the logged-in screen. You can complete the form and return it. Information you provide, compiled from, or customarily provided in public records are exempt from confidential treatment as cited in Title 13 U.S.C. Section 9B. Thank you in advance for participating in the 2016 Government Unit Survey. If you feel that this letter has reached you in error or you have any other questions, please call. And it's sincerely John H. Thompson, the director. And we've not received the survey yet. So. And that's all we have.
That's it?
I move that we place the correspondence on file.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
George, before you go on to sewer business, yesterday a lady called from the Big Rapids Eagles in regards to our community building. She said that she understands their rent there for their hall is more expensive than what ours was at community building. But she said anybody that is interested in renting the Eagles and explains that they would normally rent the Chippewa Lake community building, but because of the fire, it's unable to be rented. that they will negotiate prices with them, to bring them lower to where our prices were instead of charging the standard $500 a Saturday.
Oh, very nice.
So they just have to mention that.
I'd like to send them a
Did you
thank
get
you
a,
note for that.
did you get a phone?